Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Primetime Local News. Jasmine King joined here with Abby St. John. We're going to have updates on your local news, weather, and sports, and we're also going to be talking about your question of the day today is what is one show that is really underrated or really overrated? And so we got a lot of answers, so I'm curious to see what your opinion is.
I think a show that I think is underrated just because it's super funny is Letterkenny. It is comedy gold for Canada too, and it's super funny, and I don't think a lot of people really talk about it when they should.
I haven't got a chance to watch that yet, so I've heard it's really good, so I'm kind of interested in watching that. But one thing we are interested in seeing is what Eric Bay was doing when he was live on location today.
Thanks, guys. Well, today we are here at the Poundmaker First Nation and checking out the Chief Poundmaker Museum. And now a lot of big things have happened here recently at the museum and historic site, as Chief Poundmaker was exonerated here in May by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And they have also received some new, never before seen artwork here at the museum. So we're going to be taking a little bit through that artwork. You can check it all out here, as well as the exoneration wing of the museum. But before we do get to that, we are going to head back into the studio and take a look at your local news.
Thanks, Eric. September is Suicide Prevention Month, and today is World Suicide Prevention Day. This annual month-long campaign was designed to raise awareness about mental health. Lloydminster officials have had a hard time facing this issue and figuring out a way they could lend a hand.
A complex, multi-dimensional beast to tackle. It took us a little bit of time to say, here's the 4 or 5 key things we can focus on, from prevention all the way to you're in crisis, you need to see a doctor right away. We're starting, after the first 2 years, we're starting to put some investments out there, $400,000 in the first 2 years to various initiatives and programs.
Research from Crisis Canada Service says that you shouldn't ignore someone if they're showing suicidal thoughts. Instead, reach out and make a connection.
The least we can do is make sure the families have easy, readily available information of where to go and how to get there and who to call. I mean, whether or not, the hope is you save as many lives as possible, obviously, and we're doing the best we can with, a little bit of investment. It didn't take a whole lot to get this going. And then in the long term, how do we actually improve, make sure we have the mental health beds we need and the professionals locally, etc. That stuff takes a little bit longer than designing a web.
Finding that mental health support in the border city just became a lot easier. Early today, the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation launched their new online support tool, and we have more on what this resource will do for those struggling with mental health illnesses.
The new resource is called Lloydminster Mental Health Navigation Tool. It was introduced by the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation as well as Project Sunrise, which is a part of the Health Foundation. Project Sunrise puts their focus towards mental health, and this website will be focusing on that as well.
We recognized that people were really struggling finding out what services and supports were available in the community. So this is a one-stop shop, helping people to find all services related to mental health and addictions in our community and to help them navigate those services a little bit better.
The idea to focus more on mental health issues around the border city sparked a few years ago when the city did an assessment of needs for the community.
It goes back to the social needs assessment that was done between the Lloyd Regional Health Foundation, the City of Lloyd a couple of years ago. One of the areas identified was mental health, and that work has led to Project Sunrise, which has now led to the navigation tool. So it's been a series of steps with a series of people that have all been involved together.
The assessment not only opened the eyes to the city and the Health Foundation of the resources that need to be improved, but how many people in the community are affected by mental health illnesses.
1 out of 3 people in our community are impacted by a mental illness or addiction, and that's a lot higher than the national average of 1 out of 5. And one of the questions that people said is they don't know how to access services in our community. So helping them know what the services are, what they offer, and how to access them is critical to helping our community become mentally well.
With this being a strong resource available to Lloydminster and the surrounding area, Malcolm Radke, CEO of the Region Health Foundation, is hoping that this will prevent people from going undiagnosed.
I'm just tired of getting those notifications that we lost another member of our community when things are preventable if they could have just gotten the support they needed right when they needed it, right? So for us to launch this tool, I think for the donors and the volunteers, it's absolutely huge. Now we can start to have the conversation of, here's the list of supports. We think we need more supports now, right? But at least we have an inventory of what we're dealing with. So it's an important first step, and I'm just excited for more to come.
If you need help for any type of mental health illnesses, visit lloydminstermentalhealth.ca to find resources and services around Lloydminster.
Lloydminster Sexual Assault Services' 4th annual Walk a Mile in Her Shoes is taking place to raise awareness around sexual violence. On Thursday, the walk will take place starting at Synergy Credit Union. What makes this walk unique is the footwear requirements.
Definitely expect to put heels on and walk a mile. It is actually a mile. So we invite everyone to come out. Registration starts at 5 p.m. So that is when we can try on our shoes and you get your swag bag and your entry into door prizes. And we will start the walk at 6 o'clock, followed by supper, and then entertainment by the Dirt Rich Band at 7:30, which is extremely exciting.
Wearing heels for the full mile is really to show that you don't know what someone is going through until you walk in their shoes.
It would be most identifiable with women is the high heel. Also, it offers up a little bit of a challenge because when we do talk about sexual violence, it's a challenging journey. It is something that takes a lot of time and sorting through. So often putting on those high heels, it offers up that challenge and to feel that experience of those rocky journeys and also that challenge of, well, whether you're walking uphill or downhill.
The most important part of the walk is to make sure people are aware of sexual violence and how it affects everyone.
We are wanting to build awareness around not only the subject of sexual violence, which we know is something that's extremely hard to talk about. We also know that it happens to not just women, it also happens to all genders, all walks of life, all ages. So the awareness piece is really important, but it's also important for our communities to take the opportunity, get involved, and then they also get to learn a little bit more about what our services are for our community area.
For more information about the walk, visit walkamilelloydminster.com. Now we go to our Eric Bay, who was on location earlier today.
Once again, we are back here at the Chief Poundmaker Museum, and today we are talking about some art that they do have displayed here, very rare, and now Floyd Favel joins us now. So first off, can you tell us a little bit about this art that you did just acquire here?
We were recently given the early work of Henry Beaudry, and it comes from the estate of the Olga Kozak estate. And so we're very pleased with that because it adds to our growing permanent collection. And also the artist Merle McMaster also donated to us one of her latest works. So we're most pleased with that and we're honored by that, as well as we're presenting some documentary photos of recent performances that took place here in the summer, designed by Alex Vander Donk-Forand and also by me and my colleague in Montreal.
And now you guys did just have a big unveiling for this new art, so can you tell us a little bit about that event and how it went?
We recently had our unveiling just last week, and it went very well. And a representative of the Olga Kozak estate arrived and formally gave us the paintings. And as well, Merle McMaster sent her best wishes as she's doing a show in Montreal right now.
All right, thank you for this, and we are going to have some more from back here at the Chief Poundmaker Museum as we take a look at some of this art, as well as we did mention very rare. But before we do get to that, we are going to head back into the studio.
Thanks, Eric. Well, taking a look at current temperatures right now, we are sitting at 9 degrees here in the border city with mostly cloudy skies, which we've seen throughout the day with some rainfall throughout. 15-kilometer-per-hour wind coming in from the east-northeast, and that's pretty strong, but keep an eye out for that as it may rise or it may stay the same. Records for this time of year, 28 was the high back in 1997 and 0 was the low back in 1989. Taking a look at current temperatures right here, 10 in North Battleford and Saskatoon and 9 in Meadow Lake, Prince Albert and Melfort. On the Alberta side, 10 in Cold Lake and Athabasca and Edmonton, 12 in Edson and Rocky Mountain House, 9 in Whitecourt, 11 in Red Deer. In North Battleford, overnight they may see some chances of some rain with a low of 6 and the wind being 11 kilometers coming in from the northeast. 11 is the high for tomorrow with a chance of some rain throughout the day. Cold Lake may get a break from the rain overnight with a low of 6, and the wind has slowed down in Cold Lake with a high of 13 tomorrow, but with mostly cloudy skies. Here in Lloydminster, we should see some rain overnight with a low of 6, but the wind will calm down to 9 coming in from the northeast, and tomorrow again 9 coming in from the east with a high of 11 with some chance of some showers. Over the next 3 days, a 40% chance we should see some rain tomorrow with a high of 11 and a low of 6. Sunny, mix of sun and cloud on Thursday with a high of 17, but with that wind coming in from the south at 11 kilometers per hour. And Friday we have a 62% chance of some showers with a high of 18 and a low of 7, and that wind will remain at 11 kilometers per hour coming in from the southeast. That is a look at your 3-day forecast. We'll have your 7-day coming up later on in the show.
About 30 people gathered around a century-old grain elevator in Punchai, Saskatchewan yesterday to watch as their memories fell into a pool of rubble and crop dust. Last month it was announced the 107-year-old pool elevator would be torn down after its owners moved away and couldn't sell it. It was built in 1912 by the Saskatchewan Cooperative Elevator Company. 61-year-old Brenda Perkin, who has lived in Punchai her whole life, says she knew this day would come, but it didn't make the moment any less heartbreaking. And now we'll take a look at your egg prices.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
In the first Beyond the Boards of the season, our Evan Kenny is getting to know some of the newest members of the Bobcats.
Four rookie players on the Bobcats team are from our neighbors down south. Tanner Mack from East Grand Forks, Minnesota, Mason Hendrickson from Minnetonka, Minnesota, Sam Carper from Dayton, Ohio, and Garrett Larson from Waukesha, Wisconsin. So far, the move has been a joy for the U.S. boys.
So it's just amazing to see a community like so small get really involved in the community, in the team, and just help us build and help us grow as a team. Really, it's awesome to see how much people like hockey.
It's great. I'm not ready for it to get really cold though. Don't have a big enough coat.
No, it's really special so far. Everyone's been great, and the towns also. It's been fun to get to know. And
some of the small things, like the spelling of words, are causing troubles for the young players.
C-E-N-T-E-R.
C-E-N-T-E-R.
C-E-N-T-R-E.
Although the boys haven't adjusted to our spelling yet, they have adjusted to one of our national treasures.
I've actually gone to Tim's the past 5 days.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, like we have it in Ohio, but it's different up here for sure.
Good. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I go back to Minnesota without it. So.
One of the early things the Americans noticed about Canada was the hockey.
I'd say this league is way more skilled, more skill guys and more opportunities to score than I'd say back at home. We got a lot bigger guys and more meatheads who try to grind and stuff, not really try to put the puck in the net, so it's a little bit different, but it's a lot more skill. It's really good.
Finally, the boys showed off their pipes, singing a little bit of our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, for the land is really good. I don't know. Honestly, I just know the beginning, and that's about it.
Oh, Canada, our home and native, like that. I don't know much more.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land. Yeah, that's it. I don't know.
I'm not even gonna try. No, I don't know the first word.
As the season moves along, the boys will continue to adjust. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Beyond the Boards is brought to you by City Centre Auto Body. For over 35 years, City Centre Auto Body has been your go-to auto body shop.
Once again, we are back here at the Chief Poundmaker Museum, and we've been taking a look at some of the new pieces they've acquired here, very rare as well, and Floyd Favel joins me once again, and now you're going to take us down what you guys do have here in the arts section. So can you start us off here with Henry Beaudry?
This was recently donated to us. It's by the Olga Kozak estate. This is the early work of Henry Beaudry. As you could see, it's more somber and monochromatic in color. Later, it became more colorful. So we're very pleased with this. It's like catching the early stages of his eventual genius. And right here, we have the transformative photographs of Merle McMaster, who originates just down the road in Red Pheasant. And so as you could see, her photos blend imagery of animal spirit beings and the human being to create an overall effect of spiritual power and transformation. And here we have the set design of Alex Vander Donk-Ferrand, originally from Montreal. And her set design is working with the architectural principle of the tripod, which is common for boreal forest people and plains people. And as you could see, the different pictures, how it transformed over the days and the weeks as we went through a performance process. And further down here, we have a performance that I took part in Montreal. It was called Dwellings. It explored the housing issues of Indigenous people across Canada. And we looked at theater as a multicultural act and not defined or limited by identity. So thank you. That's our show.
All right, thank you for taking us through this and showing us what you guys do have here. We're going to have some more from back here at the Chief Poundmaker Museum, but before we do get to that, we are going to head back into the studio.
Thanks, Eric. Well, taking a look at current temperatures right now, we're still sitting at 9 degrees, and so is Marwayne and Vermilion. 10 degrees in Vegreville, St. Paul, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, Lac La Biche, 11 out in Edmonton. On the Saskatchewan side, 11 in Macklin, 9 in Maidstone, St. Walburg, and Meadow Lake, and 10 in Pearceland, Green Lake, and North Battleford, and 12 in Isla Crosse. Tomorrow, we're looking at a little bit warmer at 11 degrees, as well as in Maidstone, North Battleford, and St. Walburg, and 12 in Meadow Lake and Pearceland, 13 in Macklin, 12 in Provost, Wainwright, Vermilion, Marwayne, St. Paul, Bonnyville, Lac La Biche, 13 in Vegreville, 13 in Cold Lake, and 14 out in Edmonton. Now, a school day forecast for tomorrow is a bit like yesterday or today, but nice cloud coverage throughout the majority of the day. 8 a.m., 7 degrees will be your temperature, and then a warm up just 1 degree at recess time and 9 at lunchtime. And by the time school is out, it will be at 10 degrees, but keeping that trend of cloudy throughout the day. Your next 7 days, 40% chance it will rain tomorrow with a high of 11 and a low of 6. 17 is the high for Thursday with a mix of sun and clouds, with your wind coming in from the south at 11 kilometers, which will continue on Friday and Saturday. The high of 18 on Friday with a 62% chance of some showers, high of 19 and a low of 10 on Saturday with a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. Sunday will be a high of 19 as well with a low of 8 with a mostly sunny sky with a bit of cloud coverage throughout the day. And Monday, 69% chance of some showers, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 17 and the high of 17 on Thursday as well. And that will wrap up your 7-day forecast.
Now we go to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Once again, we are back here at the Chief Poundmaker Museum, and today we've been looking at some of their new art here, but it's not just all about that art, as Floyd Favel joins me once again. You know, there's tons of history in here, so can you take us through a little bit of that history that you guys do show here on the walls behind us?
Yes, gladly. Over there we have information on the Battle of Cutknife Hill, which took place here in 1885. And then this wall is devoted to all the families, the people, and the history of our community. So this was photographs donated by family members, and they wanted to acknowledge their relationships here. And then further along here, we come to some documentation. It's not done yet on the exoneration, which happened here in May, in May 2019. And the museum was part of that because we helped to promote bring forward the whole dialogue on exoneration back in 2017 by bringing home Chief Poundmaker's gun and staff here. First time ever that his objects ever came home. And the exoneration had a long process where years ago Blaine Fayville, then Chief Blaine Fayville, put forward a motion back in 1994 that was rejected. And from then on, the deceased Tyrone Tutusis had conducted research and got all the documentation. And then we carried it forward in 2016, me and Milton Tutusis, and we came to the exoneration a few years later. So we're very pleased with the museum's part in the exoneration.
Very cool to see all that hard work finally pay off. And now if people do want to come here and check all this stuff out, how can they do so?
They can call here at the museum, which is 398-2316. And now that we're having fall and winter, our hours are very limited. But in the summers, we're basically open 6 days a week.
All right, thank you for doing this and taking us through all that is here. We're going to have some more from back here at the Chief Poundmaker Museum. But before we do get to that, we are going to head back into the studio.
Thanks, Eric. Now, our question of the day today is, what is the most underrated or overrated TV shows? Now, we got a couple comments on our Facebook saying, someone said Friends is overrated, Game of Thrones is overrated. There was a lot of overrated answers, like people said Walking Dead was overrated. Multiple people said that. And one that said was underrated was Schitt's Creek. And I have to agree with that because I really like that show. And I think that a lot of people, even though it is a Canadian show, not a lot of people know about it.
Yeah, exactly. I have seen, bits and pieces of it, and I've seen a couple episodes, and it's funny, it's good, it's different, and it's Canadian, which makes it even better. And Eugene Levy is, he's just incredible in anything that he does. So yeah, I would definitely agree. Even though I haven't seen the show in its entirety, I do believe that that is also another underrated TV show.
Yeah, and the one that with The Walking Dead. Now, I did used to watch that at the beginning, and I got like 3 seasons in, and then I just kind of like got away from it. But a lot of people I've heard of they've said they think it's overrated.
I couldn't even get past the first episode, so I definitely think it's overrated. I think they should have ended it a lot earlier than, keeping it going. So yeah, I would definitely think that's overrated as well.
Oh, that can be said about a lot of shows, but one thing that is not overrated is your pet pictures. So this is Eva.
Very, very gorgeous cat.
Look at the eyes, very cute.
Yeah.
This is Harley Bob.
Love the name and the bandana that he's wearing, just super cute.
Yeah. This is Lucy.
Adorable little picture, probably protecting the baby, super cute.
Very cute picture. This is Wallace Barkley.
Another great name, just adorable dog, but I love the name.
He looks like he's having like the best of times.
Yeah.
And this is Coco.
Gorgeous, gorgeous dog, just super beautiful.
So thank you to everyone who submitted your pet pictures. We'll be giving away a Pet Pad gift card on Friday.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
In studio with us is Jason Whiting, a resident known to many people in the border city, but also known outside of the area as of recently. Your back to school sort of message project that you did with some senior folks here in town has created quite the stir. Just before we get into that reaction, what got you started on this particular photography project?
Well, yeah, it's just, it is something. I often get a lot of my ideas from other social media sources and that sort of stuff. And this was one that I saw, again, online, and just knew that, we could do something better, do something more, and do it here locally with some of our seniors.
Okay. And obviously you tied that into connecting them with the younger folk as we're going back to school. Yep. What was the main takeaway you wanted people to get from it, I guess?
Just even though it's a lot of these seniors have not been to school for several decades now, and just that to hear their message, to hear their back to school message, and how either simplistic or how meaningful it is, and that it's even in these days, their messages still ring true, loud and clear today.
Is there any particular photo you took that you liked the most, or have gotten the most reaction from people on?
There's a couple. It's hard to pick a favorite, of course, but the main one there, Lyle, his Be Yourself. That image, just him. He's got a kind of a smirky face. He's got the suspenders, colorful shirt. I think that one rings very true. And also George. George is one of that you'll find there in the photos, and he just be kind to everyone. And I think you can tell what he's meaning by that. And just just to simply be kind to everyone is such a simple but meaningful message.
Yeah, and those are two things that obviously can relate to any demographic.
Right, exactly. Like this was not meant to target any one age group. It was kind of, when I went into this kind of thinking that, yeah, there might be the college students to the, the young elementary school students. So, and I think it shows that it is, it rings true for all age groups.
And you've gotten retweets and things like that now, basically in the hundreds, if not thousands. Yeah. You've obviously done, in addition to us, you also chatted with some media outside of town, like out of the radio stations out of Calgary. CBC has chimed in. What has this whole experience been like? Because I believe this is the first time you've had something sort of blow up like this.
Yeah, I've always been intrigued about viral posts and what causes them, and could I ever have one of my own? And what is it going to take to do that? And I'm pretty. It's pretty exciting that this post, a fairly meaningful and unique post, has gone viral, and it's been a fun week watching all the comments. Some amazing comments come through, and because I listed the small towns where each of these individuals kind of went to school, you'll see people commenting, "Hey, I went to this school," or "Hey, do you know so and so?" And there has been connections made in the social media world under those posts, each one of those posts as well too. So just seeing that, what has transpired outside of the social media world, has been pretty interesting as well too. With we did a story about in the classroom where the kids were taking a look at the photos themselves and what that means to them, and some advice that they might give out, and that was pretty cool to see it in action live in the real world.
Yeah. And so, but have you had a favorite reaction in terms of the reactions?
You know what, I found reactions. I've witnessed or seen reactions that have been pretty emotional. Some people they see the face, they see the image, they see what the comment is, and it's moved them. It's moved them to tears in some ways.
Yeah, that's got to be powerful stuff for sure. Now, we got to wrap up here, but before that, now that you've experienced this sort of viral trend of the past week, do you have any plans to do something further on this topic, or another photo project you want to get to now that more people have been exposed to your work?
It's I'm sure there'll be something. I'm sure there'll be, already we're talking. There's been suggestions online of maybe creating some sort of pen pal arrangement, and I'd also like to do some more with other seniors and other in other facilities here in town, and try something similar but different.
Well, we're looking forward to see whether it's different or not. We're looking forward to seeing the next instance. Thanks for joining us,
Appreciate
Jason.
It. Thank you.
Here with Becca from the SPCA, and she's brought in this adorable kitten named Dean. He is also very rambunctious and loves just exploring around as he was running around our newsroom here. So tell me a little bit about how he came to the SPCA and a little bit about his personality.
Yeah, so he came in with 3 other siblings when their eyes were just starting to open. So they were quite little, and they were in the shelter for quite a bit, and then went into foster as well for a little bit as well. So mom's still at the shelter. She'll be ready for adoption this weekend, and but he's ready to go now, and yeah, they're ready.
And how is he, I guess, with other cats or even other animals like dogs?
Yeah, I think he would be good. He's next to another little small condo with other kittens that aren't from his litter, and then with the big cat condo right next to him on the other side as well too. So he's definitely been around the other cats too, and oh, bless you. He likes the microphone. And but yeah, and we don't ever really do testing with dogs kind of thing, but I mean, he's around it all the time. He hears it too. So, and young enough that I think he would be perfectly fine getting along with other dogs as well too.
And any problems you guys noticed with health issues or just anything that he may have?
Yeah, like he's a little sniffly right now, but sometimes that can happen from coming from foster right back into the shelter. He's still happy and healthy, no fever or anything like that. But yeah, so we'll definitely make sure the sneezies aren't anything more serious kind of thing. But other than that, nope, they've been happy, healthy little kittens. And like I said, they kind of grew up a little bit in the shelter and were only in foster for a short time. So they're kind of used to the atmosphere as well already. But yeah, nothing really seems ever really wrong with them.
And we were talking a little bit about off camera about your fall frenzy. You guys have set a date or around a date.
Yeah, we're thinking around the beginning of October, so that's where we do another, discounted fees for the cats as well. And then even this weekend, though, we have our adoption event at PetSmart. And the adult cats that we're going to take, we are going to discount their fees this weekend too. So we're going to do that just to try and find some of the adults some homes, just again to clear some space in the shelter, but more importantly to find them their new homes.
And have you picked out a discount for this weekend or even the fall frenzy?
Yeah, I think, well, not so much for the fall frenzy yet, but it'll probably be around the same. But for this weekend, I think we're, instead of the $130 for adults, we're going to do $50. Yeah, so we're going to do that. So we're going to have probably at least 4 or 5 adult cats there this weekend as well. So come adopt them.
And any more events besides those two coming up?
Yeah, and the Fall Fest that's at Bud Miller this weekend as well too. I've seen that it's supposed to be plus 20, so fingers crossed.
Yes, it is supposed to be nice and sunny and hopefully not rainy like this
better
past
than
weekend.
better than this week. But yeah, that's this Saturday as well at Bud Miller from 1 to 5. And again, we're going to be doing our glitter tattoos.
And we were also mentioning you guys are still full on cats and even now dogs too.
Yes, yeah, we still have some of our longtime residents, but yeah, a couple of the dogs have people in line for them, but we still have a few in shelters. So I mean, if you are looking for your new canine best friend or feline best friend, come check us out.
And with the clear out, you guys had obviously all the cats come back in from their waiting list and their fosters. So have you seen a lot of people, more people step up to start fostering these cats?
Like we have our, obviously we have our main fosters that are really, really dedicated to us, which we really appreciate. And then even a lot of the community will step up and they'll watch these cats until we do have the space. And we really appreciate that too. Like even in return, like we try and help with the food and everything, just so it's less of a burden for them. But yeah, so we do see a lot of the community really helping us out by holding on to these animals until we do have the space.
And really quickly, what is the date and the times for this weekend's event?
Yeah, so it's from Friday to Sunday for the adoption event. So it's going to be 12 until 4 Friday and Saturday. And then on Sunday, it'll be from 12 to 3. And then again, the Bud Miller one on Saturday from 1 to 5.
All right, well, perfect. Yeah. Thank you for coming in and bringing in Dean, who loves microphones.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pet Project is brought to you by Quick Pick Waste Disposal, Lloydminster's #1 waste and recycling hauler. Quick Pick is waste collection you can depend on.